Imagine this. The year is 1885. The dark, cold waters off the Dardanelles coast are still, but beneath the surface, history is about to be made. This is the story of the world's very first submarine torpedo attack, a moment that would forever change naval warfare. Inside the cramped, claustrophobic hull of the Ottoman submarine, the Abdülhamid, the air is thick with steam and tension. Brass pipes gleam under the dim lights, pressure gauges hiss, and the heat from the steam engine is almost unbearable. The crew, a handful of brave sailors, are sweating, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and determination. On the wall, a portrait of Sultan Abdülhamid II, the visionary ruler who commissioned this vessel, seems to watch over them. At the periscope is Commander Major Mehmet Nuri, his eyes pressed against the lens, his knuckles white as he grips the controls. In his view, framed by the crosshairs, is the silhouette of a British warship, the HMS Seagull, its lights twinkling innocently on the horizon. For the British sailors, it's just another quiet night on watch. They have no idea they are the target of a weapon the world has never seen in action. The Abdülhamid was a marvel of its time. Designed by the British inventor George Garrett, it was one of the first submarines powered by a steam engine. To dive, the crew would have to shut down the boiler, seal the funnel, and rely on stored steam pressure. It was a risky, almost suicidal piece of engineering. The submarine was just over 100 feet long, armed with a single, externally mounted torpedo. This wasn't a sleek, silent hunter like modern subs. It was a loud, clanking, experimental machine, a true pioneer of the deep. Back in 1885, the Ottoman Empire, under Sultan Abdülhamid II, was keenly aware of the shifting tides of global power. The Sultan was a modernizer, deeply interested in technology as a means to protect his vast but vulnerable empire. He saw the potential of submarine warfare long before other major powers took it seriously. He purchased this submarine and its sister ship, the Abdülhamid, from Britain, believing that these underwater vessels could be the key to defending the strategic Dardanelles Strait. Major Mehmet Nuri and his crew had trained for months for this moment. They had practiced diving, surfacing, and navigating the treacherous currents of the Izmit Gulf. Every maneuver was fraught with danger. The steam engine made the interior incredibly hot, and the risk of a boiler explosion was constant. Diving was a terrifying process, a controlled descent into darkness with no guarantee of coming back up. Yet, they persevered, driven by a sense of duty and the thrill of being at the forefront of a new age of warfare. Tonight was the final test. This wasn't just a drill. It was a full-scale simulation of a real attack. The target, the HMS Seagull, was represented by an old target ship, the Gudrun, anchored in the strait. But for Major Nuri and his crew, the illusion was complete. They were treating this as a live combat mission. The fate of their nation's naval future, and perhaps their own lives, rested on the success of this single action. Through the periscope, Major Nuri tracks the target. His voice is calm, but firm, cutting through the mechanical groan of the submarine. Steady as she goes. Range, 1,000 yards. The helmsman makes a slight adjustment. The crewmen at the diving planes watch their gauges, keeping the sub at a perfect periscope depth. Every man knows his role, every movement precise and rehearsed. The tension is a physical presence in the small space, a weight pressing down on all of them. Range, 800 yards. Prepari torpedo. A crewman, near the bow, checks the launching mechanism. The torpedo is a crude whitehead design, but it carries a powerful explosive charge. It's their one and only shot. If they miss, the mission is a failure. If it malfunctions, it could even detonate and destroy them all. The shadow of the target ship grows larger in the periscope view. The moment is approaching. 600 yards. Stand by. Major Nuri's heart pounds in his chest. He can see the details of the ship now. He can almost imagine the sailors on its deck, completely unaware of the threat lurking just feet below the waves. This is the culmination of years of ambition, investment, and training. It is the birth of an entirely new form of combat. He lowers his hand, his gaze fixed on the target. He takes a deep breath, the steam-filled air burning his lungs. The entire crew holds its breath with him. The only sound is the rhythmic hiss of the machinery and the pounding of their own hearts. This is the moment, the weight of history, the pride of his nation, the lives of his minute. All comes down to this. Major Nori raises his hand, his eyes never leaving the periscope. He brings it down decisively. Fire! With a jolt and a loud hiss of compressed air, the torpedo is launched. It leaps away from the submarine, leaving a trail of bubbles in its wake. Inside the Abdülhamid, the crew watches the bubble trail through the viewport, a silver streak heading straight for its target. The seconds stretch into an eternity. Did it work? He sees on course. Then, a brilliant flash illuminates the dark water, followed by a muffled, deep explosion that reverberates through the hull of the Abdul. A column of water erupts into the night sky. On the surface, the old target ship is engulfed in fire and smoke, its wooden frame splintering apart. It's a direct hit. A wave of cheers and shouts of Allahu erupts inside the submarine. The tension breaks, replaced by pure, unrestrained joy and relief. They did it. They had successfully executed the world's first underwater torpedo attack. Major Mehmet Nuri allows himself a small, proud smile. He looks at his exhausted but triumphant crew, their faces shining with sweat and pride. They had just proven that the era of the surface fleet's unchallenged dominance was over. A new predator now stalked the oceans. The Abdülhamid and its crew surfaced to the site of their success. The mission was a resounding victory. News of the successful test spread, cementing the Ottoman Navy's place as a pioneer in submarine technology. Although the Abdülhamid itself was a primitive machine and was eventually decommissioned due to its technical limitations, its legacy was immense. The attack on that quiet night in 1885 sent ripples across the world's navies. It was a wake-up call. Naval strategists in Britain, Germany, and America suddenly had to contend with a three-dimensional battlefield. The submarine was no longer a theoretical concept or an inventor's fantasy. It was a proven, deadly weapon. This single event accelerated the development of submarines and anti-submarine warfare, setting the stage for the dramatic naval conflicts of the First World War just a few decades later. The story of the Abdülhamid is a testament to vision, courage, and innovation. It reminds us that history is often made not in the grand halls of power, but in the cramped, dangerous spaces where pioneers dare to push the boundaries of what is possible. Major Mehmet Nuri and his brave crew were not just sailors. They were trailblazers who plunged into the unknown and changed the world from below the waves. Their legacy lives on in every submarine that patrols the depths today. Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. If you found this piece of hidden history fascinating, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the past. Let us know in the comments what other historical firsts you'd like to see covered. Until next time, stay curious.